Hello, welcome to the Weekly Economic Snapshot. I recently learned a lot about Colorado Springs from reading a fantastic book called Profiting from the Peak by John Harner, Professor of Geography at UCCS. And I have John Harner with me here in the studio today. John, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So John, what led to writing this book?
Well, I wanted to start writing about local topics, and I teach urban geography and I teach cultural geography. So I said, well, no one's written a good book about Colorado Springs, and I'm interested in place, what creates place. So that's what led me to change my direction and start working here.
And what motivated the title, Profiting from the Peak?
You can't think of Colorado Springs without thinking of Pikes Peak. And I came to realize how important it is, not just financially profitable, making money off of it, but for the image of it, for the access to water, for the public lands and their whole recreation economy and tourism, just for the view, attracting people to come here. So we have used that as our greatest marketing icon and as a resource that we've, made money off of, but also just a lifestyle off of. So it's super important to the city.
So what was your thought process in organizing the book?
So I'm not a historian, I'm a geographer, and I didn't want to write a chronological history of the city. I wanted to think of the main themes that really shaped our identity. What makes Colorado Springs different from other cities? Those are, big societal movements and technological changes and cultural initiatives, but also a lot of economic development and a lot of the businesses that were important at the time and how we exploited, like Pikes Peak, to make money off of it, and our climate. So, our first growth industry was with the tuberculosis sanatorium, which is right here on this campus, and we developed a whole agglomeration economy around the health industry. We were known as a health resort. So a lot of these big topics like railroads and mining at Cripple Creek have all shaped our city. So that's how I organized it into these big sort of, I use the word themes. It's the best thing I can think of, sort of historical movements, right?
So, and one thing that I noticed reading the book is that a lot of what we see in Colorado Springs is the result of intentional economic development efforts. Could you give some examples?
Well, yeah, like I mentioned, with the whole development of our tuberculosis industry, it was a whole health industry, marketing our climate as a place to attract people. We've had agglomerations around, like the business of religion, the whole evangelical community, and people doing sort of Christian missionary work and production along that. The whole development of our water infrastructure in terms of public resources and the fact that we have these public lands here. There's a lot of interest to economic development topics historically derived throughout the book. One thing I will say I do as a geographer, I really focus more on the landscape, the built environment, the way the city looks and the arrangement of it, much more so than like a historian would do. So that tells a story, and that's what I want to interpret. It's like, what is this telling us about this place?
So what is one thing that you think that people who live in Colorado Springs probably don't know that they should know?
The main thing you need to know about is where our water comes from, right? It's an elaborate and enormous infrastructure stretching hundreds of miles. It's been built over 150 years. And when you turn your tap on, people don't ever think about things like that. But it's a lot of work and a lot of foresight that went into creating what we have just to make the city exist. Because it was very dry, right? There were no trees here when first people here.
So John, what was one thing that you learned while writing this book that surprised you?
One thing was, our founder, General William Jackson Palmer, he was seeing into the future, which surprised me in that at the same time Colorado Springs was founded, there was another colony. They had to call them colonies to buy into settlement in Greeley, the Union Colony, and they were an agricultural colony. And the person there said, the Union Colony produces wealth, Colorado Springs spends wealth, and we know which fountain is more deep. And Palmer responded, there are some people who are willing to, rather than always trying to make money, to sit back and enjoy their money. And he said, you will find our fountain deeper than theirs. Something to that effect, just because he played on the scenery of this place. So he saw that the recreation economy, well in advance.
Interesting.
One other thing I would like to add, I hope that the readers can see the value of geography to economic development and economics, and economists take on a spatial view and use tools like GIS, because it's a different way of looking at the geography of jobs, the geography of innovation, the geography of economic development, the importance of place to attracting people. So it will help you from that point of view, is my expectations.
And John, where can people go if they want to get a copy of Profiting from the Peak?
The best place is Poor Richard's bookstore right downtown. They sell it. You can get it directly from the publisher, which is University Press of Colorado. Amazon, of course, sells everything. But Poor Richard's, I like to support the local store.
Well, that's where I got mine.
Oh, great.
John, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.